e4, c5, c3, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, d4, knight f6, knight f3, bishop g4, bishop e2, e6, short castle, knight c6, bishop e3, c takes d4, c takes d4, bishop e7, knight c3, queen d6, h3, bishop f5, e4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, g3, g6, bishop g7, d3, d6, bishop e3, e6, queen d2, rook b8, knight ge2, knight d4, short castle, knight e7, bishop h6, short castle, e4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, d3, d6, bishop e3, rook b8, queen d2, b5, knight ge2, knight d4, short castle, h5, knight d1, h4, e4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, d3, d6, f4, f5, knight f3, knight f6, short castle, king h1, queen d7, e4, c5, knight f3, e6, g3, d5, e5, knight c6, bishop g2, bishop e7, short castle, queen c7, rook e1, b5, d3, bishop b7, bishop f4, bishop d8, knight bd2, knight ge7, h4, a5, knight f1, short castle, knight e3, e4, c5, knight f3, d6, g3, knight f6, d3, e6, bishop g2, knight c6, short castle, bishop e7, knight bd2, d5, rook e1, short castle, e5, knight d7, d4, h6, a4, queen b6, d takes c, knight takes c5, c3, a5, queen e2, f6, e takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen b5, queen takes b5, a takes b, knight e7, bishop f1,